We all know that Leeds United have been incredibly busy in this transfer window, maybe not in terms of the moves that they've gotten completed so far, but in terms of the conversations that they've been having. There are players all over the place that will have had a word with Leeds United, and whether or not we followed through is a little bit of a question mark, but we all know there is still business to be done, and that has been corroborated by Simon Jones at the Daily Mail. The Daily Mail being the outlet through which the 49ers have a tendency to sort of release a little bit of information, because it's a fairly happy, friendly journalist, and occasionally they will get tidbits, and the tidbits will get released. And in this specific instance, it is around the fact that Leeds United are still looking to do 4 more moves before the end of the window. Now, before I get into all of that, I would hugely appreciate if you could do me a favour, if you could pop a like on the video, if you could subscribe, that would be absolutely wonderful. Massively appreciate it. So, diving into it. The 4 positions that are listed are a winger, which we are fully aware of. We know that we are in for a winger, Mudryk, as an example. A striker, again, we're aware of that, Conrad Harder. A defender, we had a sort of idea around that, but we'll talk about each of the positions in a little bit more detail in a moment. And a goalkeeper, again, we know about that with the Zetterer thing. Personally, I'm not entirely sure that we need all 4, but I will get into why in a few minutes' time, and it'll be a little bit of a mystery, and it's fun. So, let's dive into it. To begin with, the winger situation. We know that we're in for a winger because of the Mudryk conversation, in my personal opinion, because we are very clearly interested in Mudryk. No one has denied this at any point. Leeds United, in fact, have said that they're fairly confident in signing Mykhailo Mudryk at several points. The news from the agent is that Mykhailo Mudryk is most interested in a potential move to Leeds United, and Chelsea have said that they have walked away from the conversation. So we know that at the very least, that conversation has happened. And I fully agree that someone potentially on the wing would be very beneficial for Leeds United. Something that we noticed in the match against Nottingham Forest, and sorry I didn't do a post-match sort of stream thing, I will be honest, I had a very, very busy Sunday. One of the things that was very notable in the match against Nottingham Forest was we didn't really have a lot going on down the left until Noah Okafor was on the pitch. And with Noah Okafor's tendency to not quite be fit enough to play 90 minutes, and Gabby Goodmanson currently being out, it would be good to have that little bit more depth down the left-hand side. Could argue maybe Nonto could do something like that, but he's a player that likes to cut in. He prefers to be a little bit more central than on the left wing, so that complicates things even further, which is why Leeds are being linked with the likes of Mykhailo Mudryk. We know that we are looking for someone that is able to create chances down that flank. Leeds reportedly like the fact that he's explosive, he's a physical presence, which isn't something that you can really lose by not playing football for a while, but it's the technical side of Mudryk's game that I'm not the biggest fan of, as well as the various personality bits, but I've covered that enough on this channel, and that's not what this video is about. Personally, I think a more important one to get done is a striker, but not strictly a pure striker. I quite like the idea of a striker / number 10. Simon Jones just said striker. I quite like the idea of getting another creator on board. We have Harry Wilson, who functionally will play as a 10 a lot of the time, because Bogle being a winger means that Wilson has the space to cut inside, hang around in that sort of zone 14, I think it's called, between sort of like the edge of the 18-yard box and somewhere, I don't know, but in the sort of half space. I think that's where Harry Wilson is absolutely going to thrive at Leeds United. But we don't really have someone to do that centrally. And being able to sign someone that is a 10 that can create chances as well as just be the striker is ideal. And that's why before he ended up probably agreeing a move to RB Leipzig, someone like an Nkunku is someone that I had a little bit of an eye on. Delap is someone who prides himself on his finishing, for example, and we all know we have an interest in Delap. Harder is someone that has an incredible level of finishing, but picks up some assists, so that makes him a potential good move here because he got as many goals as assists last season. Very, very decent players, but are they the right profile? And Daniel Farke not speaking on profiles in his press conference makes this video really, really tough to do. But creating opportunities like we saw on that left wing is what we're going to need more of. Almost every team in the Premier League last season scored fewer goals than their XG said, which means that either there is an increase in the level of goalkeeping in the Premier League, which we all know is the case, like goalkeepers in this league are incredible now, or there is a decrease in the level of finishing in the league. So I think if we're in a position where we can just increase the level of chances that we get, we're going to increase the level of goals. Because at the end of the day, the more times you can roll the dice, the more times it's going to come up a 6. That's personally, at the very least, what I think on that sort of striker situation. So striker and winger, it might be a controversial one. I think we could maybe do with just one of those. Just one between the two positions, someone that can play wide, can play centrally, and will just cause problems for teams. I understand if it's difficult to get that profile, and I understand getting both of those if you can't find that profile, but I think someone that can do both is always going to be beneficial, although I guess maybe having one of each makes you more versatile. I don't know. Complicated. When it comes to the goalkeeper situation is very weird. I don't know if we need a goalkeeper, which is a weird thing to say in a transfer window where we're actively searching for a goalkeeper and he might have done his medical. But my argument on this one is the fact that if Lucas Perry leaves, we don't need Zetterer. Because it's a domino effect where Archibolu going to Frankfurt is what is going to mean that Zetterer can leave Frankfurt and come to Leeds, which means that Perry can leave Leeds and go to Torino. That whole thing falling over is going to be what means that we need a goalkeeper, so I'm not 100% sure that that's even sort of a necessity. I think it's one that Leeds would like, because I think Lucas Perry isn't necessarily happy at Leeds United at the moment, considering the fact that, well, he's not in the first team. I assume he came thinking he would be, and now we've signed better than him. In essence, we've James Trafforded him, which is kind of funny if you consider James Trafford joining our club now. But I think that's a move that only strictly needs doing if we're in a position where the dominoes start to fall. So I think in theory that drops it down to 3 or 2 moves. And the one that I've not talked about is the left-back position, because the left-back position is incredibly tricky. At left-back, Leeds United currently have Gabby Goodmanson. And that's where I'm going to leave that, to be honest with you, because I consider someone that is playing at left-back to probably need to play with their left foot, especially if you're being a left wing back, because you're going to need to whip those balls in, as we saw with Gabby consistently, as we see with Bogle consistently. You need to be on your stronger foot to put the ball into the box more effectively. Another part of the reason we struggled against Forest was that Justin played very much on the inside, because he's right-footed. That's where he's a little bit more comfortable. Whilst this is fine, and James Justin is a very good player, and I will be honest, I don't like the idea of dropping James Justin. There is a world in which dropping James Justin is a must, because you need a left-footed player in your back line. Sure, we've got Muharamovic, but he's not the wing-back, so he can't be the one that bombs on all the way to fire in a cross. It doesn't make sense. So I think of the 4 players that Simon Jones is saying that Leeds United are looking to get signed, and this is from the club. This isn't Simon Jones saying Leeds United need 4 players. This is the club going, yeah, we're looking at 4. I think the absolute necessities are a creator and a left-back. In theory, that creator breaks down into your winger and your striker. If we get a striker, I'd like them to be creative. If we get a winger, I would like someone to finish. But that complicates things a little bit. And the left-back, because that is just essential. When it comes to the goalkeeper, that is entirely situational. If we end up with Lucas Perry leaving because Archibolu means Zetterer becomes available, means Perry becomes available, fine, happy with that. But I will be honest, I'm not too mad about Perry as a backup goalkeeper. He is a decent enough player, and he will probably play in the Carabao Cup match later tonight. If you're watching this after that, then I'm wrong. Be smug, be as smug as you like. But I think all of that is pointing in the general direction of very, very promising sounds, because the club wouldn't say that they want 4 if they don't think they're going to get any. And I think we get at least 2. We've got, 7 days to go? I think 2 in, at the very least. Potentially that 4, but I think 3 is the most likely. 2 at least, 3 is most likely, 4 is the stretch goal in my opinion. But as always, that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you're on the live stream, because I'm recording this on a live stream, come and join the live stream if you watch the videos. If you're on the live stream, don't leave, please, because I'm not finishing for a few minutes. But yeah, like, subscribe, become a channel member if you like. You get videos, including this one, early, unless you're on the live stream, in which case you get it earlier than early. It's weird. But yeah, hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you later. Toodaloo.